Hi guys, I'm Ludum Taters. You can call me Taters. In this video, I'm introducing a project I've been working on for quite a while. It's called the MCOC Power Index. This video is simply to explain what it is and how it works. First of all, I love lists. I also love spreadsheets and stats and algorithms. Many people in the community have shared their tier lists of champs, and while I enjoy those videos, I always wish they included something more objective to justify why champs ended up in the tiers they did. The Power Index is my response to that. The Power Index is a point-based grid system that measures 6 crucial mechanic categories and spits out an overall champ rating based on the category scores and assuming a champ of the highest attainable rarity, rank, level, and sig, and excluding all synergies. Champs' overall ratings determine which Power Index tier they're placed in, and the tiers have flat minimum-maximum numerical parameters. Keep in mind that despite wanting to create a system that's more objective than a typical tier list, Power Index is still largely subjective. The qualifications and definitions of each category are entirely my own, and while each category is graded using real champ values and abilities, my scoring of their importance on the relevance scale may differ from yours. In full disclosure, there are plenty of champs that score higher or lower than I believe they deserve based on my experience with them. Let's define the categories, then walk through the scoring system, then we'll take a look at the tier brackets. The 6 stat categories are as follows, in order of category importance based on my opinion. Practical DPS, the damage output without significant adjustment to practical playstyle, including damage over time and direct damage effects. Practical playstyle refers to the difficulty or effort required to reach said damage. Sentry, for example, can do huge damage, but requires multiple fights of buildup to reach his maximum damage potential. Sustainability. Ability to survive long quests or content without need for item usage, including size of health pool, armor and block proficiency, resistances, immunities, and regeneration. Think of it this way. If you were on a never-ending quest and you had no synergies and played your champ reasonably well, how long would that champ last? Power control. Ability to counter an all-or-nothing defender, including Power Lock, Power Steal, Power Drain, Innervate, Taunt, and Taking Specials. Think Protections and Indestructibles. Utility. Ability to counter defender abilities with ability manipulation or to bypass them with the attacker's own unique abilities, including Heal Block, Nullify, Stagger, Slow, immunities to opponent utilities like Thing's immunity to Nullify. This also includes niche mechanics like Guillotine 2099's inability to crit and Red Guardian's inability to proc buffs, and attacker power gain buffs and any other natural buffs that don't fit under the sustainability or power control categories. Suicide's compatibility. Sustainability while under the effect of full suicide masteries, including reliance on special attacks. Champs that have no immunities or resistances and whose special attacks are important to their practical attack rotation will score a 0 here. And the last category is playability. This is basically the ease of use based on intended play style, including necessity of playing a quote-unquote optimal way to achieve practical damage output. Each category is graded on its own scale from its own starting position, then weighted based on importance so that, for example, a champ that scores highest in playability, aka an easy champ to use, doesn't get an outsized rating increase. Practical DPS is graded on a 10-point scale with 5 points being the starting score, the median. From 5 points, a champ either loses or gains points based on their kit's category factors. Pretty straightforward. Because I value practical DPS higher than the other categories, this category score has a multiplier of 1. Sustainability is also graded on a 10-point scale with 5 points being the starting score. Points are added and deducted based on a champ's category factors. For example, King Groot, as all champs do, starts at a 5. He gains points from there based on his massive health pool, reliable regeneration, and bleed immunity. On the flip side, a champ like Wasp, again starting at 5, has points deducted for having very low health, armor, and block proficiency, despite having the ability to shrug non-bleed debuffs. This category has a multiplier of 0.8, meaning it's valued as 20% less significant than practical DPS. Power control is graded on a 5-point scale starting at 0. A champ has it or doesn't, and it's scored relative to how potent a champ's power control abilities are. Champs whose only power control comes from indestructible abilities, such as Captain Marvel movie and Luke Cage, and from protection abilities, such as Thing, get 1 point. Champs with taunt abilities get 1 to 2 points depending on its potency, and so on. Once this category is scored, its numerical value is doubled to normalize with the 10-point scales, then multiplied by 0.6. Utility is also graded on a 5-point scale starting at 0. Points are awarded based on the number of utilities, their effectiveness, and how practical they are to have and activate. This category score is also doubled for normalization, then gets a 0.4 multiplier. Suicide's compatibility and playability are both on 5-point scales, both normalized, and both have 0.2 multipliers. Suicide's compatibility starts at 0 and works upward. Playability starts at 5 and works downward. The overall rating is the sum of all category scores divided by 8, which produces a number on a 10-point scale. There are 7 tiers, Tier 7 being an exclusive cluster of overpowered champs, Tier 1 being the trash heap of MCOC. Here's a tier chart with the numerical parameters, which won't mean much until we start filling in the tiers with champ portraits. I've graded all 180 playable champs and will be posting breakdown profiles of many of them. I'll do my best to release a breakdown of new champs as they're brought into the game, champs who are given tune-ups and overhauls as their buffs go live, and we'll also do community choice breakdowns based on champs nominated in the comment section of this video series. The first breakdown video will be of the headlining July champ, Guardian. If you're interested in future Power Index breakdowns, consider subscribing for me. It helps me validate the time that I spend on stuff like this. And of course, if there's a champ whose Power Index rating you want me to break down, leave a comment on this video or future videos in the series.